today in any comfortable position, knees bent. Ooh. Soles of the feet together, knees out in bound angle or cobbler's pose on the floor, or just stretching out in a shavasana position. Really, whatever feels comfortable. I know this is a power yoga class, but we're going to start this way today. So thanks for coming. I'm Shauna. This is McGaw's Power Yoga. So starting to connect to your breath, starting to notice your breath this morning, bringing your attention to your breath. And as you inhale, you can feel the backside of your body gently getting a little closer or pressing into the floor. And as you exhale, you just feel the goodness in your exhalation. So inhaling, maybe feeling the upper back, the back ribs, the hips pressing lightly into the floor. I know there's going to be some space back there, but just kind of see. Exhaling, going ahead and releasing whatever you're holding on to today. So as you breathe here, beginning to cultivate mindfulness, checking in, seeing if you can cultivate some softness, some release, letting go of any parts of your body that feel grippy or tight. If you continue to breathe here, seeing if you can let your breath be comfortable. So removing any force from your breath. Comfortable inhale, back body gets a little closer as it expands towards the mat. Exhaling to feel a release of any grippiness. I know yoga has been very transformative in my life. It may be what brings you back to the mat, and thank you for coming to your mat today. I'm glad you made that choice. It's a choice to practice. So yoga is transformative. We come to our practice, and parts of it are probably hard. They may bring up resistance, may bring up some pleasure in moving or in feeling as though we master a pose. Those feelings can be relatively illusory. So just seeing what comes up during your practice today and welcoming it. And clearly we're transformed when we leave the mat. Typically, maybe our breath is different. We've changed our muscles a bit by moving them. Maybe the joints feel different, more lubricated, our lymphatic system. Circulatory system is different, and maybe even our emotional state, that manomaya kosha, that third sheath, maybe that's even changed when you leave your mat. So that transformation, that idea of transformation, and just seeing how that plays out for you today. If you'd like to set a devotion or a sankalpa, an intention here, make a little space for what's important to you, you can do that now. You could rest a hand on your heart. Check in, soften the jaw if any tension moved into the jaw. When you're ready, draw your knees into your chest. You can rock a little side to side. And you can keep your hands on your knees and start to circle your knees in opposite directions. So I'm drawing them towards my chest, out towards the edges of my mat, together and in, but anything that feels good here. You could continue to hug and rock. You could circle. So we had a request today for hips. If there's any other requests, you can always, or questions, of course, you can unmute and ask. But I am recording this, but I've got me on the spotlight video, so it shouldn't feature anybody else at all today. All right, good. And then let's bring the knees over the hips, shins parallel to the floor, flexing your ankles. So it's like you're resting your shins on a coffee table. Good. Try to feel the upper back and ribs getting heavy into the floor, drawing the ribs together on the front side of the body. Take your hands and press them into the thighs. We're doing a little isometric work here. The thighs are pressing lightly into the hands, hands into the thigh, and the core is engaging. So you're not moving at all here. You're just feeling that toning. Maybe there's you feel a little star right above your pubic bone. It's hugging a little closer to the floor. So try to keep the nice, easy breath. Try not to bring too much tension into the shoulders. And feel into the abdominal muscles. And then release, take the hands behind the thighs. We're gonna work with that same isometric press, only now we're drawing the hands towards you and pressing the thighs away. And feeling that same engagement. So maybe the pelvis feels heavy, mid-rib cage, upper shoulders feel heavy to the floor, releasing tension in the shoulders. And you can point. Let's point our ankles here. So you can point, change that flex position. All around, feeling that toning. All right, and then one more time, flex the ankles, and this time you could cross the hands, putting one hand on the opposite thigh, just for fun, flexing the ankles, knees over hips, pressing the hands into the thighs. Gently, the thighs are resisting back into the hands to find that isometric pressure and finding some tone in the abdominals, transverse abdominals, so seatbelt muscles. Good. How much release could you find in the back of the upper shoulders? All right, and then last time release, take the hands behind the thighs, point the ankles or point the toes. Good, and breathe here with trying to press the thighs away, and your hands are trying to draw the back of the hamstrings closer in. All for the good of your core. Woo. All right, and release. Place the feet on the floor. Take your feet about hip distance apart and walk them a little closer in towards your hips. But let the palms rest face down. Arms are alongside your torso. Inhale, reach the hips up and off the floor and reach the arms up and overhead. So we'll do that simultaneously. And then exhale, you can roll the vertebra down, bringing the hands down alongside the hips. So we're just working with a moving bridge here. As you inhale, press down through the soles of the feet, roll the hips up. Try to use the hamstrings here a little bit more than the glutes. And lift the arms overhead, and then exhale, hips roll down, arms come down. So just a few more here. And again, you're adjusting. If anything doesn't feel right or safe for you, you can adjust the arm position. They don't have to come all the way back to the floor behind you. Maybe they just come towards the ceiling. Good. And then on the next one, inhale, stay up. Good. Feel heavy through the ball mounts of the big toes. Good. Maybe feel like someone is gently drawing your knees towards the end of your mat. Again, feel that hamstring insertion right at the top of the glutes. No stress in the lumbar. Feel the core engage. Those core muscles we were just working, those seatbelt muscles. Good. And then exhale, release, rolling down vertebra by vertebra. Draw the knees into the chest. You can take a few rock and rolls here, coming up to sitting. Rolling back down. You can get as wild and crazy with this as you'd like. Or just come up to sitting if that doesn't feel right. All right. And then coming all the way in from sitting into table pose. Good. Onto hands and knees, wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Good. And check in here. We haven't talked about this in a while, this idea of drawing in through the base palm, elbows, and armpits. And it's just a light idea. It's just that sensation of just bringing your mind's eye to those and feeling that draw up. Maybe that feels a little bit protracting in the upper back. So just kind of see, maybe you feel some expansion in the rib cage. And then again, just checking in here with the neck alignment and make sure your neck's not dropped. Make sure your neck not cocked up. I know sometimes you need to look at the video to see what I'm doing, but then bring your neck spine into alignment with the upper back. Good, let's do some cat-cow breathing here, inhaling to find extension through the upper back. Tailbone can lift towards the sky. Exhale, flexion, rounding the spine. Find those core abdominal muscles again. Good. So really emphasizing your cow tilt, feel the muscles activating around the thoracic or the rib cage spine. And as you exhale into your cat stretch, feel the pubic bone drawing towards the navel to feel a nice stretch through the lumbar. And of course, you can move in any way that feels yummy here. Something else calls out to you. Good. And then inhale, come on back to neutral. So we're just going to try a little variation here to keep that theme of the core. Feel the triceps pressing into the upper arm bone. So triceps are engaged. We're drawing up through the base palm, elbows, and armpits to broaden the rib cage. Good, take a nice inhale here, and then as you exhale, I'm going to float the right shin off the floor and round the upper back. So you've got your cat stretching your upper back. You're just lifting that shin up. Good. Inhale to neutral, and then we'll alternate. Exhale, left shin lifts. It's just hovering like an inch. Now we're not trying to bring the knee to the chest or anything. And then inhaling neutral, exhaling. So we're trying to keep that opposite hip from falling all the way over to the side. Good, come on back to center, left. Pressing the earth away, we're keeping that protracted. And one more time, each side. Exhaling, rounding the upper back, lifting, floating that right shin just a little bit off the floor, inhaling to neutral. Exhaling, left shin lifts, rounding to cat stretch. Good, and inhaling, coming back to neutral. Good. All right, let's sit back. If you want to take a toe stretch here, tuck the toes underneath. Good, so you can just feel that all the way. If this is available for you, nice pinky stretch, get off the wrist for a moment. If this is too intense, no worries, give your wrist a nice little shake. Good, you can take some circles for the wrists here. Ooh. Or some figure eights. Good. Let's bring the back of the hands together. And then just letting the hands slide down. You can find a good stretch for the back of the wrists. Yeah. And if it feels good again, I sometimes like to bring my fingers, spin my fingers towards my heart and away from my heart. Oh yeah, those toes are feeling the love now. What do we say about transformation? Okay, good. All right, bring your hands to the floor. Walk the hands a little bit in front of the shoulders. Tuck the toes, shift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. So moving here, if anything's calling you, any way that feels good to move, you could bend one knee and draw the knee towards the belly, belly towards the knee, cuddling here. Oh, yeah. Just noticing too where the weight in your hand comes to. Is it more on the outer edge of the hand? What would it take to bring a little bit more to the inner edge of the hand, to the palm out of the index finger and thumb? All right, let any pedaling go. We're going to inhale, reach the right leg up. Good. As you exhale, I'm going to continue with our core work today. I'm going to bring the shoulders over the wrist. Try to bring the right knee to the right elbow. Inhale. Take it back. We're going to do that 2 more times. Exhale, or you can skip this. Totally fine to skip. Always fine. You can take a devotional pose at any point. Modify if you need to. It is your practice today. Good. All right. After that third one, inhale back. Exhale. I'm going to step the right foot forward. So use the core, and we'll come into a low lunge. Yeah. So there we go. We're going to set the back knee on the floor. Good. Coming into a low lunge. Either hands lightly to the knee to come up or hands to the hip. You could keep that back toe tucked if that gives you a little more stability. Good, you could play around with walking that right foot in or out a little bit. Good, all right. Let's take the arms to cactus here. Take a nice inhale and then exhale, bring the elbows together and draw the elbows towards the navel, rounding the upper back. So you've got that flexion, that cat stretch again. Inhale back to cactus. So just 1 or 2 more times here. Exhale. You can bring the forearms together, but try to bring the elbows together, round. So just play with this. We're just finding an upper back stretch. One last time. Get elbows together. Exhale. Whew. And maybe we're stabilizing. Good. By pressing through that front heel, drawing the heel back. Good. All right. Exhale. Plant the hands on either side of that front foot. So let's take a twist here. Inhale, reach the right arm up. And exhale, release. Nice. Lift the back knee, plant the hands under the shoulders, step back to plank pose. Good. So find your good plank pose here. You could do this on your knees, shoulders over wrists. Pubic bone draws toward the navel. Good. Nice toned plank pose. Breathing here. Only another 40 minutes in plank. Just kidding. Exhale, lower down. Keeping the elbows close to the body. Press the top of the feet into the floor. Inhale, cobra. You could also take a sphinx pose coming out of the forearms. Exhale to release. Good. Let's take the hands wide into our flying cobra here. So fingertips on the floor, right out from the shoulders, elbows can be bent. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, release. Good, bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale to table, exhale, downward facing dog. Whew. Good. So just you might notice here what's going on with your shoulders. So we're shooting for that idea of depressing the shoulders or drawing the shoulder blades away from the ears. The whole shoulder blade slides towards the hips. Feeling the drawing in through the base palm, elbows and armpits. What does that feel like here? When you're ready, inhale, lift the left leg up. Good. Whoops, got a door behind me. And then exhale. Shoulders come over wrists. We're trying to bring that left knee to the left tricep. 3 of those for the core. I got a door behind me, so good. Inhale to extend. Exhale 1 last time. Really try to draw that knee up towards the chest, towards the tricep. Inhale, extend back into your one-legged downward dog. And then as you exhale, we're going to step the left foot forward, right knee to the floor, low lunge. All right, good. Hand to the thighs, you come up, or hands to the hips. You tuck that back toe for stability. Good, and then just set it up. If you want to use a little isometric, drawing the heel isometrically towards your sits bone, that can turn on the hamstrings a little bit. We'll try that vinyasa again. You know where we're going with this one. Inhale, cactus arms. Exhale, elbows together, elbows towards navel, rounding the upper back, and then inhaling to come back. Exhaling to round. Flexion in the upper spine, and then inhaling, just coming to neutral. We're just coming to neutral, so we're not doing a extension. Good. Nice. And then plant the hands on either side of that front foot. With your next inhale, we'll lift the left arm up, take a twist. Good. Again, feeling into the tricep on that bottom arm, right arm. Feel the tricep pressing into the upper arm bone. Good, breathe here. What does your breathing feel like? Top hand to the floor, lift the back knee, step the front foot back, plank pose. So option here, you could work on, I'm gonna turn sideways for you all. So you could work on your knees here. I'm gonna sink the hips down a little bit. But as you exhale, we're gonna round and find that a little bit of that cat stretch in the upper back, and then inhale to neutral in the plank. Just a few times here. Exhale, draw the abdominals in, round the upper back. Inhale, try that one more time. Oh, this is hard. All right, coming back into neutral. Exhale, lower down. Good. Inhale, cobra or sphinx. Exhale, release. Let's take flying cobra, arms to T. Coming onto the fingertips. Inhale, lift. Upper back extension. Exhale, release. Inhale, hands under the chest so you can press yourself up into table or right back up into plank pose. You decide. Exhale, downward facing dog. Woo! All right. If you need to make any animal noises, you want to whinny like a horse, or just take a few exhales through the mouth. Woo, let it all go. Let's do this morning. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Good. You can step your feet about hip distance apart if that feels good. Taking a forward fold. Uttanasana. Any variation, clasping the elbows to swing a little side to side. Just staying in your forward fold. You could clasp the hands behind the head for a little neck traction if that feels good. Whew. Breathing here. Bend the knees and lift the chest just parallel to the floor. Fingertips can rest on the floor. So I'm going to step forward here. That's where the butt slides back. We're trying to keep the knees approximately over the ankles. So we're not coming forward here. Yeah. Good. Flat back here. Fingertips could rest on the floor, or you could get a block. You could take them to your shins here. Inhale, rise into a little cat stretch. And come back. Let's try that differently with a breath. So we're going to inhale, flat back. Exhale. Here we go. Exhale, a little cat stretch coming up a little bit. Inhale, flat back. Good. Lowering. So we're just finding that work through the hamstrings and the quads and the hips here. Oh, yeah. Good. On your next inhale, rise up, pressing down through the heels. Come up to standing. Woo, good. Let's bring a hand to the heart. Take a moment to regulate. Oh, standing up, feeling into the soles of the feet, feeling into the pads of each of your toes, pinky and ring, middle, index, and big toe. Maybe you feel called to lift them up and let them wave at you. Ooh, spread them apart. Hey, toes. Good. And let them release down. Good. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Good. Right hand clasps left, exhale, lateral stretch. Good. So today we'll try, so today rather than letting that left hip sweep over, let's try to stay more lift up and over, like you're kind of pole vaulting up and over that right shoulder, and we'll keep the left hip stacked over the ankle. Oh yeah. Inhale to center. Just take a moment, take the hands apart. And again, feel through the base palm, eye of the elbow, armpit, and just see if that changes. Just feeling that, if that changes the setup of the rib cage. If the rib cage feels more cylindrical, let the left hand clasp the right. Exhale, lateral stretch, other side. Whew. Good breathing here. Opening through the side ribs. Finding the spaciousness in the rib cage, the softness of the skin outside. Inhaling to come on up. Exhale, release. All right, one of our favorite ones here. We're going to stand on that left leg, bring the right knee up, hands on the thigh, and work a little bit with that isometric pressure. So we're working on getting the hip. We're feeling like The front of the thigh is moving back into the hip socket. So we're helping to promote that active flexion. Good. All right, option to take the hands underneath or to T and then extend here. Whoa. Good. And if it's windy in your room, that's okay. It's windy in mine. Whoa, and release. Good. Let's take a forward fold, feeling into that right hip. Oh yeah, let the head hang, shake the head, circle the head. Breathe. Bend the knees lightly. Inhale, roll yourself up to standing. Whew. Good, take a moment to regulate. You could bring your hand to your heart. Standing on the right leg, we'll bring that left knee up 90 degrees. Use the hands to gently resist. Knee is pressing up, hands are pressing down. Good. Good. And then arms can come to T, maybe, or you can support here. So you can extend that leg, Padangusthasana. Good. Maybe one side of the room is windier than the other. Yeah, it's not quite as windy for me on this side of the room. Good. All right, float the left leg down. Fold forward again, feeling the top of the thighs draw up and back towards your hamstrings. Feeling the ability to hinge at the hips versus pull or try to make this all happen through the low back. So we're feeling that anterior tilt in the pelvis. Good. Inhale, come halfway up. Good. Exhale, fold as you inhale, step right and left leg back into plank pose. Good. Finding your plank pose here. So again, option here, core is engaged. I'm going to let my front of my thighs lower down, but I'm going to keep a little protraction, just a little hint of protraction through the shoulders. Checking in with my neck spine. As I exhale, I'm going to engage the core and round the upper back a little, lifting the heart away from the floor, and then inhale to neutral. So I'm not retracting at that point. So I'm just moving between flexion and neutral. One more time if you got it in you. Fine if you don't. Good. And come back to neutral. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Good. Or Sphinx pose. Press the feet into the floor. Interlace the hands behind the low back if that's available to you. If not, just take the hands alongside the thighs. So just see what your shoulders need here. Shoulders are depressing. They're drawing away from the ears. Inhale. Good. Lift the chest. So find your flexion in the upper back. Sorry, find your extension in your upper back. Yeah, and straighten the legs. That might, as the legs straighten long, maybe they lift up a little. Core stays engaged. No stress on the low back. Whew. And release. Hands under shoulders. Inhale either to table or to plank. You choose here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe. Just seeing how your downward facing dog feels here. Maybe it's feeling a little bit more like a rest pose. Who would have thought? Or just feeling different a little bit into your practice here. All right. Let's inhale, reach the right leg up. So it's taking it straight behind you. Let's do this. Let's bend the right knee and open the right hip towards the side. So just, and if you feel called to and you want to take a few little circles, extend the right leg behind as you exhale. Use the core to step the right foot forward. Place the back heel on the floor. We're going to inhale, rise up into warrior one. So you're activating the back, inner left thigh. Arms could be overhead. They could be more of a cactus or a V. So find the arm position that feels right for you. Good. If you need to slide that front foot forward, we're playing around with this idea. It's more of an ideal of maybe in some lifetime, maybe could this front thigh be parallel to the floor? And it's okay if it isn't. Good. All right, let's bring the arms to cactus. Exhale in and try a little of that, flexion for the upper back. Inhale, up and open. And this time, let's try a little extension. So go ahead and Draw the elbows back and open the heart. Exhaling to round. Challenging balance. Inhaling to open. Good. All right, let's reach the arms up and overhead. Actually, no, let's take the arms to cactus. Sorry, I lied. We'll bring the right elbow under, left elbow on top. So I'm going to try our eagle arms. Good. And then hinge forward. Good. We're going to come into warrior three. So we're going to lift the back leg, keeping your eagle arms perhaps. You need to release the eagle arms and try any other arm position, that's fine. And then we're going to float back, whoa, into our warrior one. Inhale to unwind the arms, interlace the hands. So that front knee is still 90 degrees right over the ankle. Clasp the hands behind the low back if that's available. You could use your strap here if your hands are clasped, or you could clasp elbows or not even worry about hands clasped. Exhale, we're going to fold forward, humble warrior. So we're folding inside the right knee. Woo. Good. We're keeping the inner back thigh nice and toned. Good. Letting the head drop towards the floor. Maybe the head touches the floor. I got quite a ways to go. My head is not near the floor. What did I say about transformation? Yeah, it's a process. All right, release the hands, bring them on either side of that front foot. Walk the right foot out. Good, and make your way into lizard. Any variation here, you could let the back knee set to the floor. You could keep that back knee lifted. You could keep the hands right here. Hands could be on a block. You could come onto your forearms or onto your forearms on a block. So lots of options for you to adjust, to find, good. To find a lizard pose. Back knee could be on the floor or off. You play with both today. And release. Set that back knee to the floor. Good. Gently come up and walk the front foot in. Good. And then we're going to try a hurdler stretch. So you hinge the hips back. And here, again, see what feels good. You could hold your hurdler stretch. You could move between a low lunge and hurdler stretch. So you check in with what you need. While you check in with what you need, I have to just check out one little techie thing here. I think it's all good, but let me just check here. So staying in your hurdler stretch. Let's close that. Good. Just
We can't hear you.
sorry about that. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. When I mute on my co-host, I forget that it mutes on my master. So devotional, thank you. I'm sorry. So we just finished our nice series with our hurdler stretch. Make your way back to table, downward facing dog. We'll work that series on the other side, finding downward facing dog. Inhale to lift the left leg up. Bend the knee, open the hip towards the left side. You could take a few circles here or just enjoy the hold. And circle in the other direction. Good. Stretch the left leg back. Exhale. Draw the left foot forward, step it in front of the hands. Inhale, rise up, warrior two. So we're gonna reach the arms up and overhead if that's comfortable, or any arm position. Good. You're gonna use that inner back thigh to help turn the hips forward here. Good. And that front thigh maybe in some lifetime is gonna be parallel to the floor. All right, arms to goal pose. Let's start with an inhale and find a little extension in the upper back. Exhale, elbows together. And round. Inhale to rise up. Good. Exhale to extend. Sorry, inhale to extend. Exhale. Flexion. One more time. Inhale. Find some extension, that cobra sense in the upper back. And exhale, little cat stretch. All right. Cactus arms. Left elbow under right. Single or double, so eagle arms here. So feeling a nice stretch through the upper back. Keep your shoulders safe, please, so modify if you need to. Bring the weight to the front leg, we'll float into a warrior three. You could have any arm position here if you prefer something different, that's totally fine. We're straightening that front leg without locking, keeping the hips level to the floor, shoulders level to the floor. And floating back into warrior one. Inhale to unwind, exhale, interlace. Inhale, broaden the chest, and exhale, hinge forward, humble warrior. So we're folding inside the front left knee, but breathing here. Oh yeah. Strong legs, still using the inner thigh, letting the head drop towards the earth. Stretching the clasp hands towards the ceiling, opening through the front of the chest. Release the hands to the floor, frame the foot. Good, release that back leg and walk the front foot out. Left foot's walking out. Any variation of lizard pose. Good, so I'm gonna use a block today. I'm gonna set my back knee on the floor, at least for starters. Forearms to the block, but you've got lots of heights on the block too. So find your lizard pose. Making sure the knee and the toe are going in the same direction. Walking that left foot a little wider there. Yeah, good. Okay. And deciding if you want the back knee lifted or not. Just breathing here. Someone wanted hip openers today. Good. All right. Carefully come off of your block. Walk the left foot in. So now you're in a low lunge. Exhaling to hurdler stretch. Good. And then feel free. You could stay in your hurdler stretch, or you can move to low lunge and back. So you see what you need here. Oh, just playing with what you need. Maybe a little movement feels good. Maybe a little stillness feels good. Feels right. Maybe none of this feels good. It's all about that transformation. Getting our muscles, our joints, our lymphatic, our circulatory system moving in some different ways. Whew. All right, nice. Bring hands on either side, tuck the back toe, plant the hands, step back, plank pose. And then bringing the right forearm to the floor, left forearm to the floor. We're gonna come into forearm plank, second time. You could clasp the hands, bring the palms to prayer position. So option here, check in to see if this is okay for the shoulders. Option to pike the hips and walk your feet forward, so coming into dolphin pose. So from our second forearm plank, option to move into dolphin. And an option here to play around with floating your right leg up, three-legged dolphin. So your head's off the floor, shoulders are drawing away from the ears, so shoulders are depressed. Floating that right foot back. Left leg lifts if you're trying the single leg. And release. Good. Walk the feet back, come back into your forearm plank. Good, gently set the knees to the floor. Hinge back, devotional. Breathe here. Inhale, come forward to table pose. Exhale to downward facing dog. Let's walk the hands back towards your feet. We're working on that upper body a little bit. Take your feet a little wider, about hip distance apart. You can turn the toes out lightly. We're moving towards squat pose, Malasana. But I don't think we've done this one in a couple of weeks. So sitting down, trying to keep the torso upright. We're trying to lift the sternum. Bring the triceps inside the knees and use a little isometric pressure as the inner thighs engage, hands to the heart center. You could also play around with that reverse namaste if that feels good here. This might feel like a lot of work for your ankles. You can always roll up your mat if your heels don't come to the floor to give your heels a little support, and it's okay if your heels are off the floor, so long as you're balancing here. All right, option if you would like to come into arm balance. We haven't done crow in a while either, so you could bring the knees up as close to your armpits as you can, or you can keep them resting right on your triceps. Hands are going to come forward. Another option is always to bring a block out front, like a little bumper. Good. Just so that if you feel like you're going to fall, you've got a place for your forehead to go. Your forehead's going to stay parallel to the ground. You're using the inner thighs, lifting the butt, finding that cat stretch, bringing some weight into the arms. So feel that there. That's all you need to do when you're in your crow. Maybe one or both leg lifts. You can stay in your Malasana if you want. Whoa. And coming back to Malasana when you're ready. Whew. Good. Hands to the heart center. Inhale, let's stand up. Ooh, good. Ooh, regulate. Let's bring one hand to the heart. Just take it out a little bit. Good. Yeah, just letting yourself regulate a little as you stand up. Shaking out the legs. If it feels good to take some helicopter arms, we can do that. We play a little bit more with some balancing, some hip balancing here. Do I kind of call it, this probably could be called standing pigeon, standing figure 4. So if you need to stand on the floor versus your mat, you can choose here. Let's go ahead and stand on that left leg. Bring the right leg up, cross it on top of the knee, just above the knee. And then we're going to draw the hips back, but keep the shoulders over the hips. Shoulders are lifting up here. Flex this ankle. Good. Standing figure 4. Good. Finding your breath. Sliding the hips back. Reaching the sternum forward. Collarbones light and bright. Whew. And then inhale, rise up. Exhale, release. Good. Shake it out a bit. Take some helicopter arms if that feels good. Just letting everything kind of go. Oh. All right, we get to try standing figure 4 on the other side. So standing on the right leg, we'll bring the left ankle just above the knee. Try to keep that ankle flexed. Hips slide back. Good. Ankle stays flexed. Good. We're trying to keep the hips level and the shoulders lifted a little bit. So we're not folding over that shin. Maybe someday we could even have the shoulders over the hips. But it might feel like a little bit of an active flexion in the hips there. Good. This might be the windy side of the room, so just play with your balance. Get curious. What is it like? Can you de-grip the toes and bring a little bit more into the core? What happens when you try that? Oh, yeah, what happens when you try it? Inhale, come on. Exhale, shake it out. Transformation, difficult, trying things that challenge us. And sometimes the things that challenge us are the things that were easy last time. All right, good. I should be back in just a minute. Sorry about that. Oh, let's see here. Let's see. All right, there we go. Am I back yet? Yeah, there I am. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and come on down to the floor. Where are we in our time here? And we'll bring the feet, bending the knees here. So any option for your boat pose, Navasana, you could do this right here, holding onto the thighs and feeling the core engage. We're doing a lot of core today, I know. You could take the arms alongside here. So I need to just take my head back a little because I always have my head crunked forward. That is my habit. So retracting the shoulder blades lightly. Maybe you lift one or both feet here. Core is working. We have a nice long neutral spine. Gaze could be where the ceiling meets the wall. You could straighten one or both legs. You could play around with, if you don't want to commit, you could play with one or both legs, just alternating here. Good. You could even reach for the big toes and take, it's not really Navasana anymore, but take a variation of Paschimottanasana here. But I even got my knees bent a little bit. So you could play around with that if that feels good, or holding on here. You could try holding on here, or holding on to the big toes. Good. Find that core. Good. Retract the shoulders lightly. Take the back of the neck back. Good. And release. Let's come into bound angle, Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. Inhaling, sitting up nice and tall. You hold on to the ankles here, making sure the seams of the feet are at the middle body. So that's a clue. Can give you a clue as to any differences. If you just kind of go into bound angle and you notice that your feet are over to the right or over to the left, it may, it's just having that opportunity to just kind of notice and readjust. But exhale, you could hinge forward, holding onto the back of the feet if you'd like. Really maximizing that good malasana. All that opening we do. Someone had requested hips today. All right, let's draw the knees up. Good, using the core, planting the feet into the floor. We're gonna come down to the floor. So try to come down as slowly as you can, as though you were trying to press one vertebra into the floor at a time. So nice and slow, you can breathe in and out. Good. Good. See if you can work through that spot where you want to roll down all at once. See if you can really make your way all the way to the floor. Good work. All right, stretch both legs towards the ceiling, ankles over hips. Take the hands behind the thighs. Good, and just kind of, or you can even walk your hands up towards the ankles here. So we're just taking, again, that Paschimottanasana, except we're on our back. So it's like we're in a seated forward fold, except we're on our back. So you could hold on behind the thighs, you could hold on your ankles. Your ankles could be flexed. Find that release for the low back. This could be deeply releasing for the low back. All right, hug the right knee into the chest. Let that left leg extend. And if you can float the left leg off the floor just a little bit, that's great. Roll the forehead towards your knee, finding that engagement in the core. Good. Inhale to roll down. Exhale to roll up. So you're just rolling. You're keeping a nice orange under your chin. You're not dropping the chin all the way to the chest. And release. Nice. Switch legs. Draw the left knee in. Right leg extends. If you can, float it a few inches off the floor. Find the transverse abdominals. Option to add on. Exhaling to curl the forehead towards the knee. Inhaling to roll down. Exhaling to curl up. Inhale. One more time, curling up. Woo. And inhale, roll down. Good. Draw both knees in, rocking a little side to side. All right. Yogi's choice today, you could keep the right knee in and extend the left leg long, resting it on the floor, and then cross the right knee over. So you can come into a twist here where we're crossing that right knee over to the left. You could also do this if it feels better with both knees. Just let both knees roll over to the left, arms to teeth. So see what you need. And it's always fine if you need to shift your hips over a little bit to the right before you bring both knees over to the left. That can feel really yummy too. So we're stacking the knees, either one. One leg over with, right leg over with the left leg extended, or both knees over. So whatever twist feels good here. You can turn your gaze towards the right arm. You can de-grip anything in your body that feels like it wants to grip as you exhale, de-grip. We'll bring both knees back to center. Good, so option A is to draw the left knee in, let the right leg extend and rest on the floor, and then you can take that right hand and cross the left knee over. So you could take a one-legged twist, if that feels yummy, or you could bring, actually what I'm gonna do is bring my feet to the floor, shift my hips a little bit to the left, draw my knees in, and I'm gonna do both knees over to the right, arms to teeth. So single or double-legged twist, or maybe there's some other twist that you like. So you can figure out what you like here. Gaze towards the left arm. Gaze back towards the ceiling, drawing the knees back in towards the chest. And you can come into happy baby, reaching for the outer edges of the ankles, rocking a little side to side here. Any variation, I've been liking extending one leg as I roll to one side, then drawing it in and extending the other leg from happy baby. That feels fun. And if there's any other pose or stretch or movement that your body's craving, you can take that now and you can get yourself settled into any comfortable position for Shavasana. You could lay on your belly. You could take your legs up the wall. If you've got a couch or a coffee table, you could let your shins rest on the coffee table. That's such a lovely way, assuming there's nothing on the coffee table, of course. That's such a lovely way to traction your low back. So any low back stuff, that's a great way to do it. And legs up the wall is a nice traction for low back. So whatever you'd like for Shavasana, I'm going to sit up to hold this space for all of us. So coming into Shavasana. Good. If you decide you want to stay in Shavasana a little longer, you can either turn us off now so you can stay, or you can just stay in Shavasana through the end of class. So getting comfortable. It's finding and connecting again with the thread of your breath. Feeling the inhale, feeling the exhale. If you happen to be laying on your back or any portion on your back, as you inhale, feel the back body expand gently into your mat or the floor. As you exhale, feeling a release, letting go of anything gripping, letting go of any tension. So without pushing away or without getting hooked into any stories, if you find thoughts coming up, which is totally normal, see if you can welcome them and let them move through you. Just notice them and let them pass through. So without pushing away, without holding on, without getting involved in any stories you might have about those thoughts. Just let them be and let them go if you can. Just coming back gently into yourself, feeling into your fingers and toes, and starting to take any movements that feel right for you. And then when you're ready, taking your time, you can roll onto your side. Seeing if you feel any effects, any sense of transformation, physically, emotionally, breath-wise, any ways your practice transformed you today. Just showing up, power of showing up. And then when you're ready, making your way up to sitting, letting your head float up, so no sudden movements, just being gentle and compassionate to yourself. If it feels right, you could either bring your hand, I've just been loving this gesture lately, I've been needing so much, you could bring your hand to rest over your heart, you could bring your hands to your heart center, so see what you need at the end of your practice here. Thanks for coming today. I so appreciate you and your dedication to your practice and your support of Magaw. Have a really great day. Namaste. You are resilient and you are joyful. Thanks for coming. So you can unmute if you need to. Here's what I know. I was checking before class. I don't think there is a, not Jessica, sorry. Allison is working on a schedule for next week and instructor. There's a couple meetings this week about safety procedures. So what I know is it's tentatively looking like I will teach in-person classes Tuesday and Thursday mornings outdoors from 6 to 6:45, and then a gentle yoga and meditation also outdoors in person Wednesday from, I believe, 4 to 4:45. So that's what I know. This schedule will go away next week.
So no more of this class at 9 o'clock on Tuesday?
No more of this class at 9 o'clock on Tuesday. Although I guess I could offer, if you guys wanted to send me if you want to put on, if you want to send me on comments your email, I probably have Jessica's, and I know I have, let's see, Maura's not here today. I've got Maura's. If you want to send me your emails through the comment section today, I can let you know. I could keep a class at this time if there was enough of you interested and you wanted to make like a $5 donation. I could continue to teach this one. But I think the Y, here's my made up story. I think the Y has a budget. Not only are there safety issues, but I think they're also coming out of this with a little bit of a decreased budget for whether that's in person or virtual classes. So
Yeah, that's why I kept my membership. As long as I could afford it, I thought, well, I want to support whatever you guys are going to teach. Are you going to teach, Jessica, at all?
I'm not sure right now.
Okay.
Maybe not until the fall. We'll have to see.
Well, Shauna, I might not be able to do those classes at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, no, that I kind of
work Wednesday afternoon, so I might not see you for a while till things change, you know?
All right. Well, if you want to send me your email, through
How do I do that? I don't understand how to do that.
Oh, sure. Let me see if I can talk you through that here. And let me just turn off the recording here. Let's see.
I don't know if, you know,